Okay. So again, no, we are here in another session. And again, this is just a continuation of what we have started last time. So again, we're already in the network access part, which is the another 20% of the CCNA version 1.1 exam. Or this is actually now for the NETACA, this is already the CCNA version 7. No? And what we have configured last time is just this part of our network. So the switch one. So if you're going to look at back, it's configuration. So enable, then show VLAN to verify the VLAN that we have here. Okay, so we have here, we have created VLAN 10, 20, 99, and we have also the 100 VLAN here. And in port 1, I have there, I think ito yung gigabit. Example, this is our gigabit 0/1. And by the way, these two ports here are gigabit 0/47 because this is a 48 port switch. And then this one here is 48. Okay. So this is what I'm using. No, it is a 48 port switch. Okay, so let us see. No, later on. So I'm going to extend the switching environment in another switch here. So I'm going to extend other VLANs in switch 2. Okay? So that the same VLAN in this side will be able to communicate with each other. No? So that's what we are going to do. Okay? The last configuration we had is that if you still remember, we created the VLAN. So this is what we do. And then by default, if you still remember, ports of our switch are all part of VLAN 1. Okay? So by default, all ports is placed in VLAN 1. So we just simply transfer them to other VLANs that we want to. And the command was, if you still remember, what was the command then? So if you still remember, we have two commands to remember. No, you have the switch port mode access, and then we have also switch port access VLAN, and then the VLAN ID. Okay, so this is how you make the port an access port, and at the same time transferring it to the VLAN that you want. So just remember these two commands. Okay. And after that, what we do is that we make sure that our PC is physically connected to that port assigned to the VLAN that you want it be in. Okay? So if I want this computer to be in VLAN 10, so therefore I should connect its cable to that port. No? In our case, remember port 1 is assigned in VLAN 10. So show VLAN brief again. You have we have seen here that port 1 is also in VLAN 10. So meaning PC1 right now is in VLAN 10. So what next? What would be next? Next is you're going to assign this with an IP address. So if I'm going to assign this one 192.168.100, am I right? This was the addressing we had last time, no? This is 24. Okay, and then PC2, I think I assigned in here 192.168 dot um 12 dot 24, right? There you go. Okay. And what we're going to do is that this PC of mine, so my PC, I'm just going to double check just for a while. Okay, so my PC is in VLAN 1. Actually, I just checked if the port it is connected is in port 1, which is the gigabit 01, and it is. And so what would be the next thing you're going to do? So we need to go to what? So we make sure that we're going to assign the right IP address then. So this is the interface. Then we are going to assign what? Okay, we don't need default gateway for now. So what we need is the right IP address. So this is 11 slash 24. That's 255.255.255.0. I don't need default gateway yet, no, because our communication is still switching, you know. There you go. And so we're going to extend our connection to another switch, no. But before I do that, by the way, I also wanted to discuss with you, no, um the management VLAN. Oh, management VLAN. Okay. So, um, the management VLAN is actually the VLAN where we want to manage our equipments, no, our switches, no, our routers, for example. So this is our network where we want them be managed. So it's a dedicated broadcast domain, another subnet where we have a managed PC there, and then we are going to use this one to manage our network device remotely, no? Perhaps using SSH, for example. Okay? So remote management. So that's what actually I'm talking about. All right? Now, to remotely manage, for example, switch one, because I only have actually one console. Again, I have only one console cable here. And currently, my computer is connected to the console port of switch one. And so, um, this um, console connection is um, connected again to the switch one. So that's why what you have seen in here is the CLI of switch one. So later on, I'm going to transfer to switch two. And then what we're going to do, we can actually just remotely um, communicate with switch one from switch two. I'm going to just demonstrate a little on um, remote access, but we will just simply using telnet, no, in this case. Okay. So the management VLAN is again, it's where you're going to manage your switches. So we are going to, let us say,
Lalo po, nagmawal
use.
nito ginabuntag. Mawal na foundation.
Mhm.
Ay, gaya mata, nagmawal las Lucy. Pero kung mata,
Guys, can you
hinihilo man.
please?
Pero,
Mhm. Ayan. Ayan na po. All right. Okay. So VLAN 100, let us say this is our management VLAN, and what network we want it be in. So for example, it's just going to make it different. 172.16.100.0/24. Okay. And we're going to assign to our switch one the IP address we're going to assign to it is 172.16.100.11, so /24. And then let us say switch 2 would be 12. Okay, so this is what we're going to assign to them. This one will be for our um VLAN 100 switch 1 IP address. All right. And then another switch here in switch 3, switch 2, sorry, will be assigned with that spell. Right. So that's it. Switches are in VLAN 100 while the PCs are in VLAN 10. Okay? So let's do this. How can we assign our switch no with an IP address? Okay? So to do that, let's move to the global configuration mode. Then our command is that interface. Let's go to the SVI of VLAN 100. So this is what you call the interface VLAN 100. So this is the SVI of VLAN 100. It's where you can assign IP address. So the command is IP address. Then the IP address is 172.16.100.11 space 552.552.55.0. Okay. Enter. Um, Let us say, let's give a description of management VLAN. No? And there you go. All right. So let's see and let's verify to show IP interface brief. So we currently have only one IP here. Yan, there you go. Physically it is up, but its layer to stat is still down. No? Because in VLAN 1, okay, there are no active interfaces yet. So that's the reason why this is down here. Okay. Do show VLAN. If you're going to look at VLAN 100 here, there is actually an interface assigned to it. That's gigabit 0/22. So that's port 22. However, this is not physically active. Why? Because there are no devices connected there. And so that's actually the reason why um the layer to status is still down. Okay? So at least the requirement really is that at least there should be one physical interface that will be associated with VLAN 100. All right? So let's fix that later. At least we have assigned an IP address already. And for the requirement of Telnet, no, for the requirement of Telnet, at least no with the Telnet remote access, though it's not recommended. No, but just for this activity, so that is the simplest no tool we can use to remotely access switch 1 from switch 2. So another requirement aside from you already have assigned the switch with an IP address, you need to have a password, so the enable secret password in place. Let us say, let's just make it simple, Cisco. All right. And then another thing is that in the line VTY, no, in the virtual terminal lines, that's 0 to 16, 15, sorry, you need to set at least a password here. Let us say our password is also um, the Cisco NetAcad. Right, NetAcad. Then log in. Okay. So guys, feel free no to have an account no with the Cisco university. Okay, we have that online so that you can avail with some free free courses there. So there's really a lot, so hopefully you're going to get to avail of those free courses. Okay. So at the very least, this is actually just the requirement for us to be able to remotely access this switch remotely from switch 2. Okay. For the requirement of VLAN implementation, so we already have it um, configured in switch 1. Actually, what we're going to do now is to uh, configure, of course, the other side, which is of course our switch 2. Okay, so we make sure that we're able to extend the VLAN on that switch. Okay, so just wait me for a while. I'm going to All right. Now, I actually just transferred the console cable to switch 2. So as you can see here, I am now in switch 2, but switch 2 has no configuration yet. Let's try here, show VLAN here. So by default, it's still VLAN 1 is in here. There are no other VLANs yet. Okay. So, Shoran, let's see. For the interfaces, we have not yet configured it. All right. So you have there gigabit 01 to gigabit 40. That's 50. These are actually SFPs, no? These are ports, these are module that supports SFP. So actually, our switch to switch connection is via port 47 and 48. So if we're going to look at show IP interface brief just to see the current port. So as you can see, port 47 and 48 is physically up here. And also the data link layer status is also up because these are the ports that interconnect switch 1 and switch 2. All right. So, what then are we going to do next? Well, the same process as in switch 1. We are going to create the VLAN there. All right. So let me see. What was the name again? I hope. All right. So these are faculty VLAN. So anuin ko lang, Joyce, kopyahin ko lang. Right? Para may na tayong reference. Alright. Here. So, VLAN 10, 20, 99, and 100. So this is what we're going to do here. We're going to create the VLAN. So VLAN 10. What was the name again? Name is faculty VLAN. VLAN 20. What is this? Name is student VLAN. VLAN 99. Name is what? This is our guest VLAN. Then the VLAN 100 is our management VLAN. All right. As simple as that. Ay, sorry. I name it admin VLAN. Sorry. So to change that, we'll just rename it. So admin VLAN here. Okay, let's see. Exit. Do show VLAN here. Brief. So you will notice that we have now the 4 VLANs in place. But as what we had observed last time, by default, all the ports still in VLAN 1. So it would be your choice which ports you want be transferred not to these VLANs. All right. So let us say, for example, let's make some assumptions here. Sorry. Let us say we are going to assign certain ports like the gigabit, um, 0/2, comma, gigabit, 0/3, okay, be part of what? Switch port, first of all, we're going to make it an access port, then switch port, VLAN 1, VLAN, switch port access, VLAN 10, okay, what else? Let us say we're going to transfer what other ports? Let us say, the port 1, comma, gigabit 0/, 4 to 5 to let us say 9. Okay. Actually, guys, this should supposed to be uh 2 dash 3, no? But of course, it's still possible to do it this way. Okay. And then switch port mode access. This we want this one be in VLAN 1. Let us say VLAN 20. Then let us say we are going to assign gigabit 0 slash 21. Just that. Then we're going to assign it what? To VLAN 99. There you go. And that's it. Will not play certain ports to VLAN 100. Okay, and then we're going to assign this switch with what? With IP address. So how are you going to do that? So let's go to the manage the SVI of VLAN 100. Then you're going to assign what? IP address here. IP address is 172.16.100.12. I've said, no? So this is what we agreed a while ago. We're going to assign it with that 12 because that 11 is the switch 1. Description. Let us say this is management VLAN. Okay. And then exit. All right. So then do show VLAN. Let's review. So as you can see, there are already ports reassigned to VLAN 10. These are in VLAN 20 and port 1 is in VLAN 99. There are none in VLAN 100. So to verify also uh, our um, switch IP address, so it's in VLAN 100. It will be reachable via VLAN 100 through that IP address. And as you can see here, guys, the protocol is also down. So with the current configuration we had, actually we cannot, if we will try to ping 16.100.11, because the 12 is this is the switch IP address, and as you can see, it's not also reachable. Now, because the layer 2 status is still down. So how are you going to fix this? And so if it cannot ping to itself, and so as it cannot able to ping um the other switch, no? So there is no connectivity here. Okay? So we actually have created VLAN 1020 in this side. We have also VLAN 10 20, 99, and 100 in this side. So the same sides. Okay. So in that case, with the current config that we have, so this will not be enough. So what would be the next requirement so that we can extend um, our switching um, or we are going to, shall we say, extend our VLAN, no, to another switch, okay? And to allow such connectivity, okay, what are the other requirements? So aside from you're going to create the VLAN, okay? So for troubleshooting, so take note of this one. First, you create the VLAN. Second, you assigned ports to VLAN. All right? Then what would be the third one? Okay? So if you have a switching environment, having multiple switches in place, and you want this different VLAN in different switches be able to communicate with each other. I'm talking about those devices within the same VLAN, no? So this is actually what we call the um, intra VLAN communication, no? So VLAN 10 in switch 1 will be able to communicate with VLAN 10 host in switch 2 or maybe another switch 3 or switch 4 and so on. Okay. Now, with that, so the next thing you're going to do, guys, is you're going to configure a VLAN trunk. Okay? So I've discussed this with you last time, no? And in a VLAN trunk, there are two protocols to remember, the ISL, the Cisco proprietary ISL, and the standard 802.1q. No, it's actually the IEEE 802.1q. Okay? There. And ISL or Interswitch Link is Cisco proprietary. And so what we're going to use is the IEEE 802.1q. That would be the trunking protocol, VLAN trunk protocol that we're going to apply in this port 47 and 48. Okay? And remember that the IEEE 802.1q, that 1q is what? A frame tagging protocol. No? Frame tagging. I already discussed with you last time what about frame tagging. So, for those who were not here last time, so you need to review no the the recording last time. Okay? So, again, in order to identify a frame if which VLAN it comes from, it can be identified through the VLAN ID that was added in the VLAN tag. No, so again, this VLAN tag is actually a 4 byte in size. No, so that's the standard IEEE 802.1q. Okay, so actually this is the solution. Okay, so that the VLANs here can be interconnected with the VLAN on the other side. So I'm talking about intra-VLAN communication, guys. Again, so what we are dealing here with is to ensure that we should be able to accomplish this what you call intra-VLAN communication. No, so this is the basic requirements. So communication within the VLAN, VLAN 10 to VLAN 10, VLAN 20 to VLAN 20, VLAN 100 to VLAN 100. So to fix that, make sure that the ports connecting between switches is a trunk. What's with the trunk, by the way? The trunk, so if you still remember our discussion last time, we have two ports, no? We have in a switch, there are two kinds of layer 2 ports, no? So layer 2, you know, with layer 2 ports, may dalawa klase tayo dyan, access and trunk. Access is assigned to specific VLAN. So I've shown you how it is done. So like what we have just done in our config. While trunk is a port where um all VLANs by default are associated with it. So meaning a trunk port can allow process frames to and from a VLAN. And again, by default with Cisco implementation of trunk, by default all VLANs are allowed in fact. No? And right now, we don't have a VLAN trunk yet. So if you're going to check on our switches, the command to verify is the show interface trunk. So just remember this simple command. And as you can see, there are no trunk yet. There are no information as yet displayed. So this simply tells us that there are no trunk interfaces yet. All right. Question so far? Then let's continue. No? So to resolve the this issue again, we're simply going to configure a trunk. Okay, I already have explained what a trunk is last time, how it works. So all we need to do here is just apply it. So let's going to make um, this port 47 and 48 a trunk. Okay. Now, in terms of trunk implementations, we also emphasize on this. Okay. For the VLAN trunk, in terms of configuration, guys, there are two ways to do it. You can manually configure trunk. Or two, you can use DTP instead. This is actually dynamic trunking protocol. This is what you call it. And with DTP, there are two modes here. We call this modes are desirable, auto. Already discussed this one. Okay. So with DTP, this is actually dynamic negotiation of trunks. This is a dynamic way. This allows a dynamic way. So meaning we rely on protocol to ensure that the port will become a trunk. I'm going to demonstrate later on these two ways to do it.
Sir Warren, pa-interrupt po.
Yes.
No audio po kayo, sir.
Wala ba? Sorry. Kanina pa ba?
Mga few minutes na po.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Um, anyway. Okay, balik ko na lang. So, saan ba ako nawala? Yung sa audio ko dito. Which part, guys?
Trunking, sir.
Trunk here. Okay. So, balik na lang natin. Anyway, again, there are two ways to implement VLAN trunk. So, that is by implementing using ISL or the standard IEEE 802.1q. No, and the ISL is Cisco proprietary, and of course the standard is the 802.1q. And again, to ensure that VLANs from one switch be able to communicate with the VLAN on another switch. I'm talking about again in here intra VLAN communication. VLAN 10 in switch 1 will be able to communicate with VLAN 10 in switch 2. VLAN 20 to VLAN 20. Okay? So we make sure that the traffic from VLAN 10 here will be able to pass through this line. So this port 47 and 48, any of these two. So we are going to simply configure this one a trunk. Okay, so VLAN 20 traffic also from switch 1 will be able to pass through port 47 or either port 47 or 48 once this will be configured a trunk, because that's what really trunk is. Okay, a trunk is it allows to process, send, and receive traffic to no from a certain VLAN. So as what I have said, a trunk port allows by default all VLAN traffic. Okay? And in terms of configuring trunk, there are two ways to do that. You're going to either you manually configure it or you will rely on DTP. But DTP, guys, is Cisco proprietary, meaning you cannot use this one with other vendor. So the only option you have if the other switch is not Cisco, other vendor, then you can just simply manually configure the ported trunk. All right. So what am I going to do is that I'm going to manually trunk port 47. And here we will rely on TTP for port 48. All right. So this is what we're going to do. So let's go to port. I'm going to go, we will try first DTP. Actually, this is the easiest way to 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 configure a port a trunk. Okay. So first and foremost, if you are going to rely on DTP, first let's review what's the default of the Cisco interfaces. Now, if you're going to check on show interface, let's say gigabit 0/48 switch port. So remember that command. Note that. It says here that this port, while port 48 is a switch port. So it is a layer 2 port. And its administrative mode is dynamic auto. Currently, it is an access port. So the operational mode is yet an access port. And administrative trunking encapsulation, meaning this would support the .1 queue. Okay. And operational trunking encapsulation is native. Now, how will you know? Actually, by default, guys, DTP is enabled by default on Cisco interfaces for the Catalyst. So you will know that if you see this line, that the negotiation of trunking is on. Once this is off, it simply tells us that DTP was disabled. Okay, but again, for Cisco Catalyst switches by default, DTP is on. It is enabled by default. And also, I've said that um, once DTP is enabled, it has two modes. So the port has two modes, either desirable or auto. And the current mode, the default mode of the DTP mode of our port 48 is dynamic auto, meaning this is in auto. So I just want to emphasize the difference between desirable and auto. Auto is passive in nature, meaning it just simply wait if there are the other side will negotiate to it. Desirable is the one that will initiate negotiation. So this is actually the active um, mode. So it is the one that will negotiate. So at least right now, port 47 is in auto and DTP is on. So don't forget that. Actually, this is the default of Cisco Catalyst switches. Okay? So all I need to do to make, for example, this line a trunk, no? This line that connects port 48 on switch 1 and port 48 in switch 2. To make this line a trunk, so I simply going to make this port a trunk. But right now, they are not yet. So if we will rely on DTP to make this a trunk, all I need to do is simple. I'm just going to make one side, at least one side will be desirable. And of course, DTP is on. And the default, of course, is DTP is on. So since I'm already in switch 2, so very simple. So if I'm going to make port 48 a trunk, so right now, let's see, show interface trunk. There are no trunk yet. So what am I going to do is simple. I'm going to make the port 48 administrative mode. I'm going to make it desirable. Simple as that. So just one command to remember. Interface gigabit 0/48. Then I'm going to simply say switch port uh trunk. Am I right? Let me check. For a while. Yeah. Sorry, mode. That should supposed to be mode, dynamic, desirable. All right. That's it. Switch port mode, dynamic, desirable. So this is the command that you're going to remember. So this is the command that what I'm going to issue in gigabit 0/48 in switch to side. Remember guys, I did not configure switch 1 port 48 here. It's default to auto. So once I enter this, so you will notice that if we're going to check on show interface gigabit 0/48 switch port. So you will notice that the administrative mode now is desirable. And you'll notice, guys, that the operational mode is now a trunk. So we have now a trunk, guys, in that case. Okay? So we have now a trunk. So let's see. Show interface trunk. All right. So we have now one trunk here, no, between switch 1 and switch 2. So you see? So that's how it works. Question. Is that simple? With DTP? So it's very easy to make a trunk ports. So we'll just leave one side auto, then the other side, you just simply make it desirable. Desirable will negotiate trunking on the other side. So it will trunk it will make it support a trunk. Then it will negotiate on the other side to make their um trunk as well. And that's what auto do, no? It will wait if the other side will negotiate for trunking, and it will make it support the trunk. All right. So at this point, guys, we're just with the trunk. This is the one that logically interconnects the VLAN here and the VLAN on the other side. That's simple. So that's how you're going to logically interconnect the VLAN on the switch 1 side as well as on the switch 2 side. So what's now the effect of our current configuration? So I would expect that there is no connectivity between switch 1 and switch 2. So if I'm going to say, I'm going to ping 16.100.11, because this, actually guys, if you're going to look at, by the way, show IP interface brief. So you will notice here that the interface VLAN 100 physical status is up and its protocol is also up. The reason why it's now up here, because there's already one port that is active, which is associated with VLAN, what? With VLAN 100. And what port is that? That's port 48. Because port 48, guys, is a trunk. And it is associated with all VLANs. To verify that, show again interface trunk. You will notice here, guys, that port 48 is what? A trunk. VLANs allowed on trunk are VLAN 1 to 4094. That includes VLAN 100 there. All right. I hope you understand that. Okay, let's now ping. Let's verify if we have interconnectivity between switch 2 and switch 1. So switch 1 is 100.11. So we should now have connectivity. Hopefully then, sorry guys, I have a wrong IP address. That should supposed to be 172.16. Anyway, excuse me. So this should be 16 here. Let's try again. There you go. So we have now a connectivity. So let's try again to make it 100%, and it is. So if you want to have more ping, we can just simply say repeat 100 times. And so we have 100 pings here. So that simply give us now an idea that VLAN 100 in switch 1 is now connected in VLAN 100 in switch 2. What about VLAN 10 here? So I have PC1 here and I have PC2. I need to assign this PC2 in what port? Actually, I have a laptop on at the back of this computer that I'm using right now. So show VLAN here. I'm going to I'm guys, I'm going to pause for a moment. Punta lang ako dun sa likod. So, okay. Wala kasi akong camera no para makita ninyo. I'm just going to assign IP address on the laptop on the other side. So, I'm going to put its cable in port 2 or port any of the two, port 2 or port 3, and then I'm going to assign IP address. I'm going to assign IP address to it 192.168. Sorry, this should supposed to be 192.168.100.12. So let's modify that. So this should supposed to be 192.168.100.12 slash 24, right? Let's remove that. There. So for a while, hi everyone. Okay, so I already have actually I um plug the cable in gigabit 0/3. I use gigabit 0/3. Okay, and let me see if I can now ping that PC there. Again, I am in PC1. I am here in PC1. So ipconfig /all. So I'm actually in port, my physical port is connected. Okay. So that's my IP there. So I should now be able to ping 192.168.100.12. So that's the IP address of the other PC, no? Itong PC na to. So as you can see, I have connectivity there. Okay. So this simply tells us, guys, that PC1 is connected now in PC2 despite that PC2 is in switch 2. Okay, so that's how trunking work using DTP. Now next is how to configure manually the port of my switch a trunk. Okay? Let's go back to our switch here. So we only have show interface trunk. We only have one trunk port here. It's yet port 48. But I'm also going to make port 47 a trunk, but I'm going to configure this one manually. How are you going to do that? So these are the commands to remember. Interface gigabit 0/47. The command here, guys, is switch port mode trunk. That command. Enter. Then switch port no negotiate. Enter. So those are the two commands to remember. What was the first command again? The second command is no negotiate. This is to manually make it a port a trunk. And this one will disable DTP. Don't forget that. This will disable DTP here. Okay? So, let's check that. Show interface gigabit 0/47 switch port. You will notice, guys, that its administrative mode is a trunk. It's also a trunk right now. But you will notice, guys, that the negotiation of trunking is off. So this is the effect of that command, switch port no negotiate. So this will disable DTP because if you're going to manually make a port a trunk, so there's no need for DTP. So there's no use of DTP in that case because you simply force that port to become a trunk. So meaning you are not going to rely on DTP to make the port a trunk. You make it and you manually make it a trunk. So that's the switch port mode trunk there. And let's do that also on the other side. Actually, we have now interface trunk here. So we'll see that we have already two ports already a trunk and the mode of 47 is on. So that would be the mode if you manually make it a trunk. Let's telnet 172.16.100.11. So this is actually switch 1. Our password is Cisco. Password here is, what was the password again? NetAcad, sorry. Enable Cisco. So we are already now in switch 1. Okay, let's check what are the trunk interfaces here. Show interface trunk here. So we have both 47 and 48 a trunk now, and both are default in dynamic auto mode. Why is it 47 is now a trunk? Actually, guys, if we go back to our config a while ago, we first initiate switch port mode trunk. And this is what happens. Before I issued the switch port no negotiate, the port 47 in switch 2 is now a trunk already. And since DTP is yet enabled, so switch 2 will negotiate, port 47 of switch 2 will negotiate with port 47 in switch 1 to make its port a trunk. So that's the reason why right now it is now a trunk here. No? It is now a trunk. So negotiation happens and works before I issued the switch port no negotiate. All right? So don't forget that. So to make things even, so what am I going to do is I'm going to make interface gigabit 0/47 here, switch port mode trunk, and switch port no negotiate. So just to manually set the port to trunk and also disable DTP in this side of the switch, no, the port 47 of switch 1. So show interface gigabit 0/47 switch port. So right now it's now a trunk. It's manually configured, and negotiation of trunking is also now off. All right. Show interface trunk here. So by default, all VLANs are allowed in port 47 and 48. Question, guys? Any question?
None so far, sir.
Wala naman. So if that's the case, we're actually done with fixing that requirement of intra-VLAN communication. Okay? And then what we're going to do next meeting is this. So we are going to fine-tune our switching environment. Again, guys, our switching environment is already working, no, at this point. So let's exit from here. So I'm back in switch 2. So I am now able to communicate with switch 1 through this IP address. Sorry. 11. Okay. And also in my PC, I can now also communicate with the 100.12. This is actually VLAN 10, right? And this is switch to switch is VLAN 100. But guys, we cannot communicate with 172.16.100.11. PC cannot communicate to switch 1 as well as to switch to Y because the switches are in different VLAN. And these two VLANs are in a different subnet, a different broadcast domain. So they are actually in different network. So communication between VLANs is not yet allowed. Why? Because that will require routing, guys. And we have also, of course, topic on that. So we're going to fix that out. I think once we reach the topic about routing, no? About routing. All right. Question, guys. Do we have any question? Wala naman. Questions? So, what we have just done is that we configured VLAN, transferring certain ports to a VLAN, and then we configure the port between switches at trunk. Okay, so that traffic from or traffic from VLAN in one switch will be able to communicate to another, no? So trunk is simply our tool to logically connect, no, the VLANs in switch 1 as well as the VLANs, that same VLAN in switch 2. So this will fix that requirement for intra VLAN communication. Communication within VLAN 10, communication within VLAN 100, and we have seen that PC1 can communicate with PC2, right? So I'm in PC1, I can now communicate with PC2. PC1 and PC2 are in same VLAN, so VLAN 10. And also, we're able to allow communication between switches. Remember that the two switches are part of the same VLAN, and that's the management VLAN and that's the VLAN 100. And they are also now able to communicate with each other. So for intra-VLAN communication, the requirements are, first, you must have the VLAN created among the switches, and the ports are also assigned to the right VLAN, no, for the devices where they will be connected to your switch. And then of course, VLAN trunk must also be configured between switches. Don't forget that. And there are two ways to do it. You can manually make the port a trunk, or you can use DTP to make that port a trunk. So the only requirement is that at least one side is desirable. So by default, the DTP mode of the Cisco Catalyst switches ports, it's default to auto, no? So the current switches is, again, it's default to DTP mode auto. So at least one side will be desirable, and that will make that link or the two ports, no, become a trunk, no, through DTP negotiation. Okay, so I think these are the things I want to point out today. Okay, next meeting, guys, bear with me because we still have a lot of things to discuss for fine-tuning our switch environment. Guys, intra-VLAN communication is already working. But there are certain things that we can do to fine-tune things. All right, we will be discussing next things still related to switching. So how are you going to enhance your switching environment in terms of performance? So that is by implementing, guys, Ether channel. So that's link aggregation. In other vendor, they simply call it log, but in Cisco, this is called Ether channel. So this is also a good technology, no, to include in your design, as well as enhancing your spanning tree environment, no, by implementing, example, the rapid or the rap. We're going to convert our STP to RSTP by implementing rapid PVST of Cisco, no? So these are also another other tools or techniques or technologies that we can use, no, and enhance, no, the performance of our switching environment. So these are the next things to discuss, no, in our upcoming sessions, and hope that everyone still be with me on those sessions. Till next time, guys. If you don't have any question, I give you time to ask if you have some. If none, then I will now close this session. Yes, Joshua, you have a question?
Sir, good evening po. Aside from Pocket Tracer, sir, as a simulator to implement such sir, configuration and topology, sir, are there other simulators, sir, na free so that we can practice on it?
Actually, the best uh tool to simulate of course no the topics of under season is just really um the packet tracer. Aside from in terms of resource consumption, very minimal. Although there are alternatives like but I know that the iOS or the operating the iOS is not free. If you go with if NG as well as GNS3, no, so those are two other alternatives. um but I suppose the packet tracer is only free once you enroll, I think, to some certain courses no under the Cisco University, no. Again, no, enroll to certain courses which are all free. There are certain free rather, no, that you can leverage, no, that you can leverage. Okay? But wala na akong ibang maisip no na free. Actually, Cisco makes it free for if you enroll with certain courses that is requiring, of course, packet tracer. So, and there are a lot of Cisco courses na free naman, no, for everyone. So just check them out, no, in the Cisco University portal. So just create an account there. Okay?
Okay, sir. Okay po. Thank you.
Okay. So nothing more. So guys, so thank you so much no for attending our session today. And I really appreciate your presence and hope to see you again next session, no? So and I hope you've learned no something today as well. So God bless everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye. God bless you, sir.
Likewise.